Metropolitan Fire District. I hereby call the meeting to order. We have the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within committee scope, including items on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have any speaker cards?
There are no speakers this evening.
Okay. And wait, you said there are?
There are no speakers.
No speakers. Okay, thank you. All righty. Next item is consent items. We have 3 of them, and Chair will entertain a motion for approval.
Madam Chair, I'll move the consent calendar.
Second.
Okay. Any further comments? All in favor say aye. 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 Okay. Consent items have passed unanimously. Now we move on to presentation items. We have one tonight. The financial report through December 31st, 2014. Interim Compo. Welcome to the podium.
Thank you, Senator Jones. First, I wanted to just mention briefly in your consent calendar actions, you approved the investment report. In that investment report, there was some $16 million in bond funds that are yielding about 1 basis point, which is hardly anything. We're actively working with an investment advisory firm, PFM, to see what we can do with $15.5 million of pension obligation bond funds to maybe earn a little more than the 1 basis points we've been earning to date. So they're going to come back with a program that'll where we'll be able to invest that money through, I think, 2018, when the first bond issue comes due. So we'll see if we can earn some more there. Yes, sir.
Ken, what assurances are we going to get, or what sort of levels of security are we going to get when we know that these investments, if we make it, won't turn out to go sour?
We will follow our investment policy, which mirrors the Sacramento County investment policy, and those are all federally insured investment options that we'll be looking at.
All right, thank you.
Right. So the pooled investment funds would not be an option?
The pooled investment funds are the ones that are with the county pool.
Right.
And so the county administers those funds. And those are funds that we can't go out long-term because those are needed
Okay, thank
to
you.
cover operations.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on with the the Finance Committee report. The first chart we have for you is the cash history. You'll see where we're currently we're borrowing money from the county investment pool at $15.5 million. It's typically we're doing a little bit better than we did last year. I'll just mention that we did receive $67.5 million in January, our first installment of property tax revenue. You take that into account with this negative cash balance and the fact we probably used around $10 million of cash for operations in January. Into January, we're looking at a positive, roughly $40 million cash balance. So we'll be slightly ahead of where we were last year in January. General operating reserve fund balance. This looks completely different from the cash balance because what we've done here is we moved the property tax revenue to December 31st to show you a better picture of the reserves at mid-year. You can see we're doing slightly better than we did last year at this time. And that's primarily because of the what we'll see in terms of additional property tax revenue and medic fees. And here's the medic cost recovery chart. You see we're tracking slightly ahead of last year and a little bit ahead of our budget. And we are projecting to be right now about $1 million ahead of where we budgeted for the fiscal year. And in terms of total revenues, again, we're tracking ahead of last year and ahead of budget. Property tax revenues we're projecting to be probably around $2 million more than we budgeted. And that's for a variety of reasons that we'll cover in our mid-year budget report. And again, the medic revenues are so far tracking ahead of budget. So we're looking pretty good overall on the revenue side. Salaries and benefits, we're pretty close to budget here. We're moving ahead of budget. There's a number of reasons for that. We had a pretty heavy fire season, so strike team deployments caused some additional overtime there. The single role paramedic program that we had budgeted for, we never implemented that program, so we didn't have the cost savings associated with that, with the overtime. And we had the first payment for the FLSA overtime. It was broken into two pieces, one in December and one in January. So that was contributing to that higher than budgeted level there for salaries and benefits. Excuse me. So overall, total expenditures were pretty much right on budget at this point. But we will expect to trend higher than budget for the year, given the salary and benefits are projecting higher than budget. And there's some timing issues with some other payments that will pop up in the second half of the year that we didn't cover the first half. And then this is our look at our OPEB trust fund that we have with CalPERS. Currently stands at about $10.6 million. Let's see. Oops. So in your finance committee packet, we showed that for the first 6 months of the fiscal year, we actually lost about $125,000. There were investment losses for the first 6 months. But when you look at it for the calendar year as a whole, we actually earned about $267,000 for the year. And the $650,000 are the earnings to date for the fund. And again, so with that combined with the almost $10 million in contributions, we currently stand about $10.6 million in our OPEB fund. That concludes my report to the Finance Committee. I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Some questions?
No.
Okay, well, why don't you go ahead, Director Wood?
Let me get back to him. No action.
Did you have a question?
Oh, no, I said I have none. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you did.
No, I have none.
Director Monk, do you have any comments or questions?
No, I do appreciate the numbers, keeping track of the numbers on all this, Ken, in light of our current situation and everything.
Sure.
Appreciate you jumping in and letting us know where we are.
I would like to mention, last meeting we approved the first comprehensive annual financial report for the district. And I failed to mention that we did submit that report for the consideration of the Government Finance Officers Association Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. And that program is designed to encourage local agencies like the district to go beyond just the minimum requirements of financial reporting, more in the spirit of transparency and full disclosure. So that CAFR is more comprehensive in terms of the information that's contained in that report. And I would encourage you to take a look at both the introductory section and the statistical section at the end of that financial report. It's just chock full of a lot of good data about the district.
Good. Thank you for that late night reading recommendation.
And if I could just add on that CAFR, and I know we talked about it last week, but just in the smaller group, that piece of information based on the position of Mr. Campo here being the interim CFO, but helping us for a long time with the agency, But the excellence in that document and the bringing up of our professional standards to that level, and the finance team with Ron and Ron Impedrad and all of his team in finance, I'd be interested to see how that awards goes, because it was a great document, and I can tell you we're going to be using it even internally for our own staff to understand the finances of the fire district. This is very important for the transparency to the community, but it also helps with the transparency to our own workforce to understand how the money goes. A special district is much different than a fire department, and I think even at a level where individuals talk to their peers up and down the state of California, it's a different comparison if you're a district versus a department. So great work on their effort. It's going to be sustained into the future, and for my purposes, it brings us to that next level of where we want to be. So thanks, Ken.
Sure.
All right. Okay, I think we all have a little something extra to add. We'll start with Ted and then Gary.
Well, I'm sorry. Will the CAFR be put on the line, Chief?
I believe it already, is it on the website already? Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Right, Ron?
I missed it.
I wanted to comment about the GFOA submittal and whatever. I just got back from the CSDA Leadership Conference, and you know, sitting here as a board member and hearing how we're doing all the time, you get a certain feeling. But this district is recognized up and down the state for the things that we're doing and the things that we're involved in and the things that we try and get out in front of. And we talked about a lot of things out there. Submitting items to the GFOA was one of them. And a lot of questions on the things that we're doing on our OPEB funding and employee contributions, et cetera, are recognized up and down this state as leadership in the field. So just to come back and report to you guys that it is a big deal. And we are out there in a positive light in these, not only in the fire departments, but the special districts up and down the state. Because we were getting questions from not only fire districts, but water districts and cemetery districts and everybody else interested in what we're doing. So just to pass that on to you, Chief.
Well, I appreciate that, and I can also tell you, with our peers here in labor as well, you know, when you live it, when you're actually in the middle of it, sometimes it's hard to see it. But I do know when we go up and down the state that pre-funding of OPEB, all those different things that we're doing, a lot of places are not doing that, and even in their pensions, the way they fund those is different, which is interesting. So, you know, kudos to all of us in the past working forward. I'm just glad to be able to sit here and ride this thing like everybody is working very hard, finance and all of it. So.
Well, the other thing that was very apparent in the discussions that we were having is, and I'll give Ken credit here, he's been camping on us and making sure that we know that coming up here shortly, the reporting is going to change.
Right.
And there's going to be a dramatic effect up and down the state when those numbers finally come out.
When they're on your spreadsheets, absolutely.
And it was only mentioned just a little at the conference, but it drew some real attention because the unfunded liability that's hanging out there is a big deal. So again, we get a lot of kudos for trying to get ahead of it and getting cooperation to stay ahead of it. So.
All right, well, thank you, gentlemen, for your comments. Can I have a particular question about the 16 million invested for the bonds that you started with, and you said you were going to look for perhaps another way to increase some of the interest on that? How long will we look for that? I mean, is that an ongoing thing, or would you be able to give us an idea next month if there are some other opportunities for?
Yes, we're working on that now. We should have a proposal within the month, within 30 days.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. That answers my question. Are there any other comments or questions for Mr. Campos?
No.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All righty. And we do have one action item tonight. It's election of officers with a recommendation to elect a chair and vice chair to the Finance Committee for 2015. Takers?
I'll take the rotate up like we've done in the past.
Okay, and that means you get into the rotation, Mr. Wood. All righty. Shall we take that as a slate for Director Monk to be chair and Director Woods to be vice chair. I'll second. I assume that, yes?
That was your, yeah, yes.
Okay, and I'll second. All righty, is a voice enough? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. Commencing next month. Congratulations to my two presiding officers. Is there anything for the good of the order, including any particular items for next month's agenda? All right, thank you very much. Next meeting date is March 12th, 5 p.m. in these chambers, and our meeting is adjourned.
I'm sorry.